why don't we move on to Guy Ritchie's most recent film, Wrath of Man, which, Dave, we've been talking about Guy Ritchie for as much as we've been able to talk about pretty much any director recently. We had Aladdin 2019,
Mhm.
we had The Gentleman in early 2020, one of the last films I saw in theaters before the pandemic.
Right.
Um, and Wrath of Man's coming out. He's making another film that's already in production.
Yeah.
I
Five
think
Eyes.
you also reviewed King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, early on.
Yeah, I didn't see it till late. I saw it on the plane, so I think I mentioned it at one point. But yeah, he's released a few movies since we've started the pod, and
He's working.
obviously one of those is quite notable in how it is an outlier. That would be, of course, working for Disney and making Aladdin,
Mhm.
which to me is probably my favorite live action remakes. More on that in a little bit with Cruella, but since he got back to his usual ways with the gentleman and Wrath of Man, you almost can tell that Guy Ritchie's like happy to like take back the narrative and like do his stuff again,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
which is fun.
Yeah, and I think this movie is really like it's Guy Ritchie, but a little bit more like Tom Clancy-ish, I guess, like
Hmm.
in a sense. The Gentleman felt like Guy Ritchie going all the way to like you know witty Bond esque type side, where he's
Right.
you have Matthew McConaughey and he's had all these weird lines and you talk about tigers and all this shit. You have Hugh Grant being super weird, and it's
Hmm.
like, okay, this is campy, but like in like the most fun way possible. This feels a little bit almost like video game-ish at times, like
Hmm.
that whole beginning sequence when Jason Statham has just been accepted after barely passing the physical test, and they're like walking him through that like place, and he has to stop by each person and talk to them and introduce himself, and they give him some like witty jab like, oh, you think you're fucking Jesus or some shit. Okay,
Yeah.
what's going on here? But yeah, no, I thought this was actually really fun, like, and I think when it leads into the action and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is a fun Guy Ritchie film. What it is, kind of. But I didn't really think it was like his best movie. What did you think though?
No, I think that's the funny thing too is it takes some DNA from his best movie,
Mhm.
Snatch, namely the
Yeah.
non-linearity of it. Like halfway, maybe a third of the way through the movie, we completely restart and we get the complete other POV of the bad guys from Statham's point of view, right?
Mhm.
The other gang, and like you learn that the whole pretext of this movie is that at the end of the day, two rival bank, not even rival, two separate bank robbing gangs happen to be casing the same truck route.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of preposterous,
Yeah.
but I still find the movie pretty fun. I think like early on the way it's like framed, like that when you get the first view of the inciting incident of that robbery where Statham's son gets killed, it's
Mhm.
filmed from like inside the back of the Fortico bank truck, and it's kind of incoherent. You can't really see much outside like the doors and stuff.
Yep.
And I think it was a cool way to like keep the suspense and not tell us everything that happened because the movie wants to be more convoluted and tell you that later on. So uh, I don't know how effective all that nonlinearity is. Like I actually really was expecting like Statham's rest of his crew to show up at some point again. It's
Yep.
kind of surprised they never appeared because we got a lot of time with them like
Yep.
in their big scene. But the action is fun and like banter wise, I don't think this banter isn't as good as the gentleman. I don't think it's even close. Honestly, like there's a lot of like I don't mind like the toxic masculinity of Fornica. Like there's some like really like out there like comments, but I think it's just kind of dumb. Like at times, like
Did you
Statham
have a
tells Post
favorite line?
Malone like suck his own
Oh
dick
yeah.
before he shoots him in the head. Right? It's like the
What?
script is what it is. That's fine, but you're
What
there to
did you
watch.
say? Suck your own dick. Okay. Sure. My
You're
favorite line was uh I forgot exactly what's happening in the scene, but he like does something and one of the guys like, what do I do now? He's like, I don't give a fuck what you do. I was like, okay. Like, sure. I feel
I mean,
that.
Josh Hartnett's character is called Boy Sweat Dave.
Yeah, really funny. Also, shout out Josh Hartnett, a guy who I think after Lucky Number 11, I was like, this guy's gonna be everywhere, and didn't really turn out that way. But
No,
I
he's
still like him
working
as an
more
actor.
lately though, which is
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice. Um, yeah, Holt McCallany, who
Hmm.
obviously we know from Mindhunter, gets kind of a nice turn in this movie.
Yeah.
I felt like pretty predictable because you have him and he's kind of like second build on this, so you're
Yes.
like, oh, is he just gonna be like the straightforward old man like, caretaker
Yeah.
coworker? No, he actually gets a little bit of a twist, which I think is a bit predictable, but also like good for him.
Right.
Glad he got it.
Yeah, once you get to like the climax, which is this extended set piece at the depot where there's the robbery attempt and this many shootouts, I was surprised to see how much character death there was, right? And
Yeah.
even Holt's character Bullet, Scott Eastwood fucking collapsed him at the end there. It was like really quick, you know. I thought there'd be
Hmm.
like a standoff where they like talk to each other and then one of them gets killed. No, like he just fucking gets got real fast. I really like Jeffrey Donovan as the head of the other gang, like the leader. I thought he was pretty charismatic there.
I mean, he's
Uh,
always just the guy from Burn Notice, though. Like
right.
I love that Jeffrey Donovan just always be Burn Notice.
Meanwhile, you have like on the other side, you have like Andy Garcia as like
Yeah.
a FBI agent or whoever it is who's might have done this work in like 2 days. Like he has just a handful of scenes where he says basically nothing, and like that's what I was saying. Like there's some like convolutedness to like heck like
Yeah.
you remember the Andy Garcia's like deputies, like his agents that he's like telling to stand down, they never come up again. Like, why were they
Never.
even characters in the first place?
I know. Well, they were like, well, there's this workplace shooting, so they obviously need to investigate it. And then they're like, this guy is the guy we're looking for. And he's like, nah, just let him go. We have similar interests. Okay, cool. Andy Garcia just showing up for 2 seconds and then showing up for two
Hmm,
seconds again. That's it.
yeah,
It's so funny, like some of it, but really worked for me. Also, Rob Delaney just shows up randomly
yeah,
and it's like being a ridiculous, like funny person, and then checks back out. Like as you mentioned, Post Malone just shows up for a second. It's all just like, okay, okay. It's like
right, right.
I'm enjoying myself. It's fine.
Also funny to see like this like incredibly militarized security outfit.
Yes,
Like these are people that move like money around, but like bring this is not how that's not how strapped up Brinks truck dudes are. Like they do not have like that level of machine guns at the
no,
home
Dave.
base, you know.
They're not like Call of Duty soldiers, like walking around. It's fucking
Fucking
nuts.
like the Holger or whatever gun that is. Like they that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the action at the end. Like again, like a lot of people die like kind of in quick ways. Like a lot of unceremoniously. Like that character is gone now. Bye. You
Hmm.
know. So and
But
Statham, I think Statham obviously he's our lead character. Like he's doing Jason Statham things. He's not doing anything you haven't seen him do before, but he still really knows how to command the screen. I think the thing with Statham is the rest of the movie around him needs to be good because he's been in a lot
mhm.
of movies like this that are really bad, right?
Yep.
But like it's never really Statham's fault. So I think he's kind of he'll be up and down with the rest of the movie, but he'll always bring what he brings.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, I felt like Scott Eastwood actually in this, like I liked him. Like he really seemed like a good bad guy. I was like, you're hateable, and the ending between him and Statham is a little bit like ridiculous, and that's like a Guy Ritchie like ridiculous ending where this guy's holding a gun on him, and he's like, "What the fuck do you want?" And then he's like, it's like, okay, dude, like maybe you want to
Right?
get strapped up too. Also, then he's like, "I want your lungs and I want your liver." And
Your spleen.
yeah, I was like, all right, like, good
Yeah,
ending.
I agree. It's a nice turn for Scotty. So I haven't had like a high opinion of him the
Me
past
neither.
few years. And I feel like most people don't, you know, it's like he's just kind of like, oh, here's the new pretty white dude that we're gonna try and make a movie star, you know. But like this actually him getting a little dirty, you know, as
Yeah.
the bad guy here, you know, got a messed up eye as this character. Like
Mhm.
it's a good use, I think, of his talents, you know, because he like the physicality still worked. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was nice for him.
Totally agree. You ready to wrap this one up and move on?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Five Eyes,
Yeah.
which is in production now, and we'll probably get, I imagine, maybe early next year. A lot of frequent collaborators from recent Guy Ritchie works, including Jason Statham again. So I'm just happy to see Guy. He's just I think he's found a nice niche again. Like he knows what kind of budget he can get for these kind of movies, and he's running with it, and that's awesome. So
Yeah.
happy to continue to watch what he does.